Hello everyone, my name's Father Carl Chudy from Our Lady of Fatima Shrine, together with my colleagues in ministry, Reverend Bonnie, Reverend Mark, Reverend Sarah, and Reverend Scott as well from First Baptist. All of us Christian communities in the town of Holliston coming together in prayer, and in particular the thing that's so precious to all of us, the Word of God. Today I wanted to share with you our gospel from the Catholic community at Our Lady of Fatima Shrine. And it's very short, but very pithy, very important, and maybe something that you will find very familiar. It's from the Gospel of Luke, and it is about prayer. Jesus was praying in a certain place. When he had finished, one of his disciples said to him, "Lord, teach us to pray, just as John taught his disciples." He said to them, "When you pray, say, 'Father, hallowed be your name.'" Your kingdom come. Give us each day our daily bread. Forgive us as we forgive others. Do not subject us to the final test. The Gospel of the Lord. Very few sentences, but very powerful, I think, about prayer coming directly from Jesus. I can't help but think that somehow we're eavesdropping in on Jesus and the disciples in this Gospel of Luke, as he centers his whole attention not on the crowds out there, which he did in the first 9 chapters, but on the disciples closest to him. So here we have this intimate conversation. I can't help but think of the conversation that's very similar in a sense, in dynamic, to the prayer of Jesus to his Father in heaven. Now here we don't know what Jesus' prayer was to his Father in heaven. We kind of assume that somehow in some way these words that he shared with his disciples are something along the lines of what he shared with his Father in heaven. And in the 17th chapter of John, we have this long prayer of Jesus. And again, we are invited to eavesdrop in on this very intimate conversation where he says, like a final testament before the cross, he says, "Father, may they be one as you and I are one." I think in a lot of ways our prayer as Christians, no matter what denomination, congregation, or however we interpret scriptures for ourselves and for our own communities, that prayer is at the heart of it all, and is at the heart of what connects each and every one of us. And in this prayer, of course, in Luke, it's a prayer petition, actually. In Matthew, it's a bit longer. In here, we have 5 different petitions, and they're powerful in themselves. I like to just linger with each of the words. "Father, hallowed be thy name." In silence, just linger there. Allow whatever images comes up to my heart and mind as I pronounce these words. "Father, hallowed be your name." And let them rise. Your kingdom come. Give us every day all that we need. Forgive us our sin and our distortions and our lies, our illusions, all the ways we resist grace and goodness. For we forgive others and find it so hard sometimes. And do not subject us to the final test. My suggestion is to pause with each of those 5 petitions, if you will, in Luke, and to allow what's ever arising in you to arise, wordless, maybe imageless, whatever. Prayer in our tradition, all of our Christian traditions, tend to lie in two areas. One is discursive prayer. The other is contemplative prayer. Discursive prayer, of course, is formula prayers, special prayers with special words that are inspiring, that's been handed on to us in our families, in our communities, words and images, music, all of these things that raise up our minds and hearts to the power and immensity of the divine dance around us, the Holy Trinity. And there is another kind of prayer, and that's the prayer that I'm finding myself at this time in my life feeling drawn toward, and that is contemplative prayer, which often has no words, has no images, no music, where it's not me who's praying. It is awakening myself to God who prays within me. It's me listening to the prayer of the Holy Trinity that runs through my veins. I love this image of Paul in the Romans, the 8th chapter. He says, I don't know how to pray. He says, it's the Spirit who prays within me. I don't turn on an on switch for prayer. I don't conjure it up. It's God who is always praying everywhere and in everyone and in everything throughout the cosmos. Everywhere. That what Paul says is that this Spirit of God who prays within us in words that are inconceivable to us. Imagine that it's God praying, that we answer God's prayer within us and with each other. I would like to pray in light of that, of this deep sense of listening to the power and wonder of the Trinity that is in everybody and everything. It's at the heart of my own work and interfaith work, ecumenical work, across religious, secular lines, across human and animal lines, that we are all one living organism where the songs of God sings through our hearts. I'd like to pray for the grace to listen deeply, profoundly, to that power within me and within you, to open our eyes, blind and weary sometimes. I'd like to pray for that. Have a good day.